Hello, I am John White. I am going to talk to you today about self-monitoring, and that is a behavior intervention strategy to address a student's inability to remain on task, their inability to remain in their area, their inability to complete work, or their inability to comply with teacher requests or demands. Calling out is a big problem, or requesting teacher assistance. That's like they're requesting teacher assistants too frequently. I have found in my job, I'm a behavior interventionalist at an elementary school in Hagerstown, and I deal with this stuff pretty frequently. So, to combat a student being off task, gentle reminders. It's always important to offer 5 pieces of praise to every correction that you give them. This sort of helps them not get frustrated, and it just kind of helps to build rapport with the student and make your relationship with them strong so that they're more willing to kind of listen to you and remain engaged in what you have to say. To keep them in area, I know the use of tape we use a lot. If you tape off their space and kind of remind them, once again, it's a lot of reminding, a lot of gentle reminders that they need to stay in their space, because a lot of the time they sort of have a problem even identifying that they're not out of their area. They may not even realize that they're not in their area. Completing work is another challenge. A lot of the time we'll use a tally or a frequency count, or points sheets are a really great tool to use, because points sheets allow you to kind of address a lot of these things at once. So there will be a lot of different columns with that behavior. And this is self-monitoring, so they should be at some point, maybe not at the beginning. You may be doing a lot more filling out of points sheets, but at some point, the goal is to have them filling out their own points sheets. And this sort of builds self-efficacy for them. It makes them more responsible for their actions, and they'll try to play you. It's going to happen, but you just got to call them out on it. Calling out, once again, tally, frequency count, I think is probably a good method to use for that one. Requesting teacher assistance, once again, it's a lot of gentle reminders and tally counts, even points sheets. And the points sheets should, be going home, hopefully, and being seen and signed by a parent to be returned the next day or whatever, if you want to do it on a weekly basis. I know a lot of our summit programs, it's a daily basis, so they take the points sheet home and have mom and dad or legal guardian, aunt, uncle sign it and return it the next day. And if they don't return it, there are consequences. And that's the other thing I would say, is being consistent with consequences or rewards. Like, if you say you're going to do something, you got to follow through on it, because if you don't, they're not going to believe you. They're not going to trust you. And you need that. You need to establish trust with these guys and girls. So yeah, I think a good place to start would be to choose a schedule too. So you're checking in with that student at the same time on a daily or weekly basis, depending on how severe the intervention needs to be. So start of the day, end of the day, or end of a period. If there's a period that, it's just one period that they're struggling with, then checking in maybe before or after with that student will go a long way. Scheduled transitions. These students typically are my behavior students. They've got a lot of ADHD, a lot of stuff like that. So, scheduled transitions are important, because if you keep that routine going and consistent, they're going to be more on it. And if you're not consistent, that schedule, those transitions wreak havoc, because it's just a lot of stimulus for them. They're, going to a new classroom, coming back from a class. So that's a struggle. But like I said, I think if you kind of get, if you realize that the last 5 minutes of class is going to be a problem, you might want to have a paraprofessional or someone, if they've got some sort of scaffolding like that, have them leave early. That's what I do a lot, is, if I have a particular student that I know is going to give me a hard time in the last 5 minutes of music, I'll just, we'll pull them out early and we'll go figure out something else to do for that 5 minutes. Fixed intervals is a great skill to use too. And as far as monitoring goes, I think timers are a great tool. That's what I always use. I don't so much use the MP3, the beep tracks and stuff, because I just feel like the timers are easier to keep track of. Like, I kind of am aware when it's been past 5 minutes, and I'm aware when they're trying to pull one over on me and maybe get a little more time out of that. And rewards can be great too. I would say be careful with that because it's a slippery slope. And yeah, I think the praise is important. A lot of praise to correction, and just yeah, I mean gentle reminders. You gotta it's frustrating because they repeat themselves and get in little loops. But I think it's one of those things where if you're consistent and they can rely on your consistency, then you'll definitely see progress and benchmarks being made. And of course, obviously, the idea is at some point when this is all done, you'll fade these supports. So eventually, the student will be able to handle this on their own, and they won't need you to kind of make sure that they're self-monitoring, which is the ultimate goal. So I hope this video has been helpful. Um, I'm sorry that I haven't gotten to see any of you in class, and I hope you're having a great summer. So I'll see you later. Bye.